The following is a presentation of the Belly Up Sports Media Network.
This is Haymaker Combat Sports. Here, coming straight from the source. Only with the real, they ain't here to dress it up. Sweet science, MMA, you can get it all from us. Trust, 5 stars cause it's lava. And through the fight game, we can guide ya. Slick talking, putting them in caution. Passing all the goals cause the audio is awesome. What you waiting for? Spread the word, tell a friend. This the podcast where all of the discussion ends. When they start going strike for strike, this the show that'll tell you what you seen in the fight. And they ain't playing on the mic, this a welcome to the show. Warm it up for the squad, Haymaker of the bros. I'm about wow, you can hear from the pros. It's Haymaker Combat Sports, time to roll.
Welcome to Haymaker Combat Sports, powered by the Belly Up Sports Media Network. I'm your host, EJ Reed, joined by my fellow hosts, Aaron Admire, Steve Johnson, Chris Sanders. What's good, fellas?
Happy Monday, happy holidays.
What's up,
Happy
Steve?
holidays, fellas, definitely.
Yeah, everybody's rounding up for the holidays. Something to entertain us this weekend, so it was pretty good.
Yeah, like Admire said, recording on a Monday. This will be out on a Tuesday. We got the full crew with us to end this year out, so that's a good thing. But fellas, it's the holiday season. Anybody got anything good going on this Christmas week? Admire, I'll let you kick it off.
Same old shit. Get with the family. My dad's gonna smoke a brisket and smoking beef ribs. You know, beef ribs is something that a lot of people don't get down with, but it's my favorite thing, man. Like, I don't know how people just sleep on those. It's like the best tasting steak you will ever have. And my dad is just a master at smoking shit. He's got that offset smoker and he does it right. So we're just gonna eat meat, open presents, and do the thing.
So I got my stick offset smoker back like in 2021, and I've done beef ribs once. The only thing about the beef ribs, they're good, but it seems like they're huge, but it's like not a lot of meat on the bone from what I don't know what your thoughts on that are, Amar.
Yeah, it's not a lot on there, and beef ribs are like, you got to pay attention to it. Like, it's way more delicate than a steak. Like, you cannot cook them too long. Like, it's just, you got to do it just perfect. You got to pay attention to it. You can't just let it go and just hope. You know, you got to pay attention to it. And, you know, the risk and reward, you know, like you said, there's not a lot of meat on there, but the meat that is there, it's perfect. It's like, it's almost like, you know, when you eat crab, you know, you got all that time cracking the claw and you get that little bit of meat out of it. Same thing with beef ribs. You spend all that time, you know, smoking it and all that, and you get a little bit of meat, but it's worth it if you do it right.
I remember.
How long does it take?
It doesn't take that long. I usually, on our beef ribs, I can do it in 3 hours, but I do it real low because I want it real smoky.
Got it.
I remember you said your dad had the stick burner. He still has the stick burner.
Yeah, my dad's an animal, dude. Like, he gave me his electric pellet smoker.
Mm.
He's got an electric stand-up smoker that he does with a stick burner as well. And he's also got his offset. Like, my dad has all these different smokers. He's got a mini smoker on his back porch for when it's snowing, so he doesn't have to go out to the garage on his big smoker. He's got like this small one that's like a tiny drum that he'll just like throw a couple chicken legs in. Like, my dad's like crazy about smoking.
Beast mode for sure. That's what's up. What about you, Chris? You got anything going on this Christmas season?
This is normal with the family. We usually do Christmas Eves together. Then everybody chills on the Christmas with their own family. So just that, nothing crazy.
Yeah, you'll be on the West Coast with like the Weiss family. Or are you going back East Coast?
Yeah, with the wife's family. I'll be over here in the West Coast still,
Okay.
so I'll be over here.
What about you, Steve?
Yeah, you know, over the years, sometimes go to gatherings, families. You know, your mom, the auntie's going to be there, and it's traditional Christmas meal. But sometimes we go outside of that tradition, and we might have a Christmas breakfast. You know, eggs and all the shebang. So, and depending on what type of time of day everybody's trying to meet up. But yeah, that's what I look forward to and did for for the past few years.
Yeah, I feel like deja vu for me. I was here last year, and they're having the actual Christmas dinner at my aunt's place, just like they did last year. So she lives about 45 to 50 minutes from where my parents stay at. So we'll be driving there, and I've got so many like first cousins that I've had kids. It's like hard to keep up with names at this point. I feel bad, but it's just so because my dad has 7 siblings, and so I got a bunch of first cousins, and then they started having multiple kids. So like the older ones, I can remember names, like the ones that are like getting into their 20s, late teens now. But like some of the little ones, like I don't know if it's me getting old. I can't keep up with all those names and whatnot. I feel bad, but it is what it is at this point. But holiday season is still nice to see family, but like we were talking about earlier, a lot of fights this weekend. But before we get into the big card that happened this past weekend, it was a few fights that happened beforehand. This main event that happened down in Saudi Arabia. Notable names. Co-main event, it was Devin Haney going up a weight class and trying to get another belt in the welterweight division against Brian Norman Jr. And coming out the gate, I was surprised because we've seen in past Devin Haney fights where he's more of a defensive fighter, more methodical, but he came out the gate more aggressive, and I was surprised to see that power translate up to welterweight. In the second round, he dropped him, and he was super aggressive. And I'm like, oh man, I've never seen this Devin Haney before. He tried to get him out of there. Kind of in the second round of the fight, he kind of went back to being a little bit more methodical and hesitant, but he was using that jab the whole fight, and then counter punching, and he was able to go up there and get another belt, his third weight class. So I'll let you kick it off, Chris. What were your thoughts seeing Devin Haney going up there and getting another belt?
Actually, like you said, man, he looked good. He was very skills was there, very precise on his punches, knew when he wanted to get in, engage, and when to get out. Looking at it, this was, I think, his first fight at this weight class, correct?
Yeah, it was his first welterweight.
So I could see him trying to fill it out. His opponent looked a little bit bigger, body frame wise.
He was.
So yeah, so it looked like I was a little worried for Devin for that, but he looked like he could handle the hits, getting hit back. He dodged a lot of punches and came out victorious. I mean, and he looked good. Honestly, he looked good at that weight class. Looked comfortable. I think this is good for him.
Admire, I know you hadn't been the biggest Haney fan in the past. Admire, what are your thoughts on him going up welterweight and getting that belt?
Oh, he looked good. I mean, that first round, Norman landed like a good hard jab on him, and Haney just seemed kind of shy in that first round. But as soon as that second round came, like he flipped a switch, and it seemed like he didn't like getting hit that first round. So he like turned the corner and just. It looked like he felt like he needed to be the aggressive one. He got that check left hook, and then he, buckled his legs, and then, right hand got the knockdown. And, it's like he just was aggressive the rest of the fight. I think I had Norman winning like rounds 8 and 9, I think it was, but that was about all the good he did. I mean, it was Haney all the way, most of the fight. He looked really good. So I think the power translated good moving up. Norman's size really didn't play a factor in it, but yeah, looking good.
Steve?
Yeah, the past Devin Haney fights that I've seen, methodical, using footwork, getting out of danger. Lately his fights, but it seemed like he bit down on the mouthpiece this fight and was willing to methodically go into danger, and not only that's exciting for the fans, but that'll definitely get them more fans. Just looking through the comments, a lot of people, they say they were surprised by Devin Haney's performance, and also me, because I never seen him really that aggressive in any fight, actually.
Yeah, for sure. And the narrative have been around like the 4 kings, quote unquote: Haney, Teofimo, what am I slipping up? Teofimo, Shakur Stevenson, and Tank Davis. So those 4. We got Teofimo and Shakur Stevenson fighting each other in January, and people kind of clowned Devin Haney for losing to Ryan Garcia, but Ryan Garcia popped hot, so you can't kind of knock him. That doesn't go down as a loss. So where does Devin Haney look like? I guess from the outside's perspective, do you think he kind of like regained people's, respect going in there and going up to a weight class, getting another belt? Admire?
Yeah, I mean, you have to give him super respect for that going up. I mean, and he's still got his O. Like you mentioned, he did lose to Ryan Garcia, but you can't really hold that against the guy when you pop hot because you never know what would have happened, if he would have played it straight. We seen Ryan Garcia take a pretty bad loss to Tank Davis, just off that body shot. So how much did popping hot really help Garcia? Ryan Garcia? I think it probably helped him a lot. So I'm not going to hold it against Devin Haney losing to Ryan. And I think this shows that, Devin Haney's for real, wants to prove it and wants to keep elevating his game and, go after bigger fish.
Do you agree with that, Chris?
Of course. I think they should just keep fighting, man, and forget about these L's, man. These guys there's enough belts to go around for these guys. There's enough fighters right now. They don't need to keep gatekeeping and run away from each other and just fight it out. It's styles that make fight. David Haney, he lost to, Ryan. He might have took something to help him, but who knows? But at the end of the day, I say just keep fighting and see what happens. And that's what he did. He performed well, and just keep performing well. He's gonna get more fans and more opportunity.
Think so too, Steve? Get back in the mix with that.
I definitely. And plus, outside of the ring, sometimes events, Ryan Garcia controversy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Them not liking Garcia might, it actually reversed, and people really didn't hate on Haney because of Garcia's comments, as far as on race. And I mean, that can, the masses, are funny when it comes to athletes, celebrities. People switch on you overnight. You mess up like Ryan Garcia, and they probably on Haney team now. So I don't think that loss plus the steroid. I think he's won some hope for a second chance to erase that L. I think he did that that night with that fight. And you were saying boxing, these fighters need to fight. Do you think they need to change the cultural standard on what makes a champion? You know what I'm saying? Like, I guess at this point, how rare is it to have a champion without padding it? Undefeated record, and I think I agree with that because it's just since 2010s and definitely since Mayweather left. I mean, there's really no stars anymore for real, as abundant as it was in past decades.
So by changing the standard, what do you exactly mean by that?
UFC, maybe not exactly, but like a UFC model can bounce back and get that belt. One loss. I mean, damn, they're about to throw Devin Haney away.
Yeah. So you mean like his contendership and like not focusing more so on the losses, but more focusing more so on like quality wins? That model.
Yeah.
I mean,
I like that.
I want to say, Chris, what do you think about that?
I mean, that's what I'm here for. I want the fighters to fight, man. Like, you could be 31-0, but if you fought like only one or two contenders, like it's really not. What's your 31 wins for? Like, who you been fighting? Like, we can't name none of these fighters that these guys. Like, when we first meet all these guys, they're like 25-0. Like, who are the 25 people they fought? Like, who are these people that they've been fighting? Like, where they been at? So for me, I want these guys to fight. I don't even care about the loss at Devin Haney if he took that. They can run that back. I just want to see these guys all fight because style may fight. You might beat me. I might beat this other person. That person might beat you. You never know. We just got to see. We got to see who the best are. These guys are just running away from each other. And it's not really them. We all know that. It's more their promotion teams. It's more their camps, not really trying to put them in the fire because I don't believe none of those guys are scared of each other. But it's more, the draw, who the promotion team. And this is the problem that we have. That's why we haven't seen, Terrence Crawford. He haven't got the good fights until the the rare end of his career. You know, he didn't get those good fights in the beginning because his camp wanted this or the other people's camp wanted that. You know, just too much. I want to see the fighters fight, man.
I agree with that. How about you, Am?
Yeah, I mean, the best need to fight the best, and you know, it shouldn't be, oh, well, I want to fight this lower ranked guy because the money's there, because he's got a bigger name, because he's got a bigger Instagram following, things like that. I mean, that's, you know, kind of what happened. That's why we didn't get Pacquiao Mayweather when they were in their prime. They were too worried about getting the money fights and not actually fighting the best of the best, and we missed out on what could have been one of the great fights of all time. So the best need to fight the best, and, you know, worry about the other, you know, spectacle fights later, you know, the circus fights.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to go too far off the beaten path, but you think Zuffa boxing will kind of dictate some things going in the future with Dana White getting into the mix of things, Chris?
Not really, because there's too many belts. Like,
Yeah,
people won't fight over there. There's not, you know, it's just boxers. They just got to get, like, I don't know, promotion just got to pay up and get the fights that people want to see. I think once they start paying everybody what they feel like they deserve, and you don't have to hide behind, I'm undefeated, that's why I deserve this amount. And if you paid everybody the right amount, you have to worry about, you know, losing. Because if you lose leverage, it seems like, and that's the problem with the sport.
What about you, Admire? You don't think Dana and Turkey Alycia will get in there and try to mix things up a little bit?
I think they will. I think they'll kind of go off of that UFC model of the best fight the best. And I think that's going to be one thing that they can use to get real fighters over and say, hey, we ain't going to do this shit of, you know, skipping people because they're more popular. Over here, you can fight the best. The best are going to fight the best. If you deserve the title fight, you're going to get the title fight. But the problem is, we've talked about it before, I don't know if Zuffa's going to have the cash flow to pay those people what they're used to making over in the boxing world. You know, I'm sure we're going to get into it in a little bit, what, you know, Anthony Joshua and them made this weekend. UFC has never paid anybody close to that kind of money for a fight. So, I mean, Zuffa, Dana White, them type of, you know, that company and their brand, they're going to have to figure out how they're going to do the pay structure. I mean, if they want to get anybody of note to come over there. Because, I mean, that's the first and number one thing. You know, it doesn't matter how they structure their business if the money ain't there. They can run the best business in the world, but if the money ain't there, nobody's going to go get punched in the face for it.
Steve, I'll let you wrap it up.
And yeah, and also just correlating MMA, does it have can boxing, as far as like what they're doing, can they would definitely have to figure out the pay, and also looking at UFC and other promotions, right? We know UFC has one of the highest talent pools. We have to see how much talent goes to there to even have a perspective of even comparing the pool of fighters to what we know as promotions in boxing, you know, to even mingle in the culture. And I think that can be done, because if they can get a UFC fighter or one fighter, whoever Ngannou was on, to get in the fight, I mean, I'm pretty sure that Dana have talks with other organizations that we're used to seeing based off of popularity. I mean, Ngannou did it.
Yeah, Ngannou came over from PFL, and
that's it. Yeah,
they were able to structure the fight. I don't know. There's a lot of things they got to wrinkle out. I think, like Chris said, first of all, they would have to condense it, because right now you got 4 different official sanctioning bodies that has 4 different belts. You got WBC, WBA, WBO, IBF, and that kind of muddies the waters. But I don't know. I think, yeah, it's just like a catch, almost like a catch-22 thing, as far as like I might say, it'd be a good thing if Dana White and Turkey Alycia would come in there and kind of make it more structured and more linear, but they don't. Do they have the money to pay these fighters that they used to be paying for it'd be like you opened up Pandora's box. There's no way you could put that back in the box now that these fighters are like. I might say we'll talk about it later. Like what you've been making on the fights. Floyd Mayweather, I think he's probably got the record. I think he got $200 million for the Pacquiao fight, which is absurd. So I don't know. It's just
I had a question for you guys.
Yeah.
UFC fighters fight more often out the year than boxers do, huh?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, and I guess over the past 8 to 9 to 10 years, you see like the top fighters only fighting like twice a year now. But for the most part, they'll average like 3 fights a year for the most part.
Because most boxers at that level only fight twice a year.
Yeah, at the top level.
So you're not really going to get too many fights out of them. That's our problem. They're fighting so many different other people. They only fight twice a year. They're not fighting each other, and we're not going to get them because they have to go on. They have to wait. So it's a mess.
Yeah, I think John Jones, like, I feel like he started like only fighting like, well, only there's a lot because of legal trouble and outside of the case stuff. But even when he wasn't in trouble, you only see him fight like twice a year when he wasn't in trouble. And before that, it used to be like a steady 3 fights per year. You see even the top fighters. I don't know if you could back that up, Admire.
Yeah, because I remember like I was in Vegas for that fight where he beat Bader, and then just like a month or two later, he fought Shogun for the title.
Yeah.
And before the Bader fight, I think he had a fight like a few months before that. Jones, he was every few month fighter at first.
Mm-hmm. And then I don't know why the top level guys stopped fighting this often, but you saw Marab, he kind of tried to like set the standard of fighting more often. I guess that kind of bit him in the ass because he lost his fight this month because he was going to try to set the record for most title defenses in a year. He's working on 4 this month and he lost. I guess it finally caught up to him, but I don't know. I'm hoping that won't deter people from trying to fight more often. I feel like 3 is a good, healthy number to fight per year. Whether you have the championship belt or not, that's averaging a fight every 4 months. I don't think that's too bad.
I was just looking up here just to give you an idea of some of the records in UFC. Donald Cerrone and Neil Magny in the modern era are tied. They had 5 fights each in 1 year. Kevin Holland in 2020 had 5 fights in a 12-month span. Then in the early days, Dan Severn had 11 fights in 1 year in the year 2000. And
that was in the tournament days, though, right? They were fighting multiple times a night. So
yeah, I was gonna say, and then there's Hoist Gracie that had 8 fights in 1 year.
Yeah, that's the early days of the UFC. That's in the tournament days, but more modern. I guess you could use Cerrone and Kevin Holland as an example. I feel like 5. That's a lot because training camp and cutting weight. That's a lot on your body. But like I said, I feel like 3 times is a healthy amount. Like you said, Chris, Mayweather kind of set the standard. Like we only fighting twice a year. We fighting on Mexican Independence Day. We fighting on Cinco de Mayo, and that's it. And Canelo kind of adopted that and carried it forward to present day. So it is what it is. But we'll see what happens with that moving forward. But let's move on to that main event that happened that same night back on November 22nd. The Mexican monster, David Benavidez defeated Anthony Yarde by knockout, 7th-round knockout. And I don't know, it kind of took Benavidez a little bit to get going, but once he got going, because this is like his 3rd fight at 175, because he made his way in 168, getting that belt in super middleweight, but he moved up to light heavyweight, wasn't able to get a finish up there until this fight, and his hands just look quick. Like sometimes you have like one punch and knockout power, but he has like the speed knockout. It's just overwhelming. It's just volume, and he overwhelmed Yarde at the later rounds, like the 5th, 6th round. You just saw those combos and just putting Yarde up against the ropes, and he got him out of there that 7th round. What are your thoughts on that one, Amir?
Yeah, I mean, even in the 3rd round, he kind of had him, trapped and looking kind of bad. I could see there earlier in the fight, 3rd round, I was like, oh man, this is looking pretty rough. And then, as the fight went on, 5th, 6th round, it was like, yeah, this is coming to an end early. There's no way this goes the distance. Benavidez just looked super quick and was just stinging him with everything he had towards the end. So yeah, I mean, he looked good.
Chris?
He looked good. To me though, his frame looked a little out of shape. I don't know if you guys were looking at
He's
him.
always been
He always
doughy
looked
though.
like that.
Yeah, he's
He
always
always
been
looked like
pretty
that.
doughy. Yeah. And
It
now he's
looked.
going
It
up
just.
weight, so he's looking even more, a little bit more doughy. He's never been like a muscular guy, like almost like a Nick or Nate Diaz, like that type of mode.
Okay. Because yeah, it was just throwing me off. But yeah, he was quick. He was fast. Like you said, by the third round, you kind of figure out how the fight was gonna go. It was just a matter of time. It was shocked to see him get there to a seventh. Thought he'd get there a little earlier, maybe fifth. But he got there. He did what he's supposed to do. He looked good there. But I just thought his body just looked a little off to me trying to be at that weight. I don't know. It just looked a little different.
Steve?
Yeah, man. He put on a show. Not only you said his speed, but his reaction, his shot selection, even when in the pocket, and he would get some of those punches off in close quarters and make it crisp and strong. And like I said before, I was looking at the comments, and I totally agree. It's like this was a fight that not only was a fight, but it proved that muscles aren't everything. You had a skinnier looking, you had a other guy with a physique, right, and systematically destroyed him. And I'm definitely going to watch out for his fights more. Those one of the few fighters I've seen to just throw crisp shots like that and accurate punching combinations back to back. So definitely.
So I kind of feel bad for David Benavidez because he was chasing that Canelo fight. He was chasing it. Canelo lost to Terrence Crawford, a smaller fighter. So I think that fight is up in smoke. David Benavidez and Canelo. I don't think we'll see that fight. So I'm guessing at this point, he just has to basically fight the winner of the rematch of Beterbiev and Bivol, if I'm not mistaken. You don't think so, Admire?
No, I already seen it. It said his next fight's already booked.
Already? That's crazy.
Yeah, let me find it. Where'd it go?
It can't be like somebody of high profile because I feel like as far as high profile names go, Bivol and Beterbiev is the only fighters that make sense at this point because
yeah, May 2nd against Gilberto Zurdo Ramirez.
Okay, Zurdo Ramirez, he's 6'6". I think Ramirez, he's what 28, 27. He's pretty younger. He's like born like 98, 99, 97, somewhere.
97, I think.
Yeah, and he's 6'6". That's gonna be an interesting fight. Is that happening at 178? Because I feel like is that happening at which weight? Is that cruiserweight fight? Is that a cruiserweight fight?
Yeah, cruiserweight.
That's crazy. I didn't think that fight because they were talking about him going up to cruiserweight against Ramirez. No, Ramirez 6'2". I don't know why I said 6'6", but yeah, that Zurdo fight is an interesting fight. So this book, I don't know, because like people questioned him going up to 175 and how his power wouldn't translate. And like I said, he couldn't get his first two fights up there out of there. Him going up to 200. That's gonna be interesting. And you said is it like a soft acceptance for the fighter? Is that like written in stone? Am I from what you see?
From what I'm seeing, I mean it's pretty sure thing. Says the announcement came immediately after his dominant TKO victory, and Benavidez confirmed his plan to move up in weight, shifting focus for the fight. Yeah. I mean, it sounds like it's sure thing. I mean, that's what AI tells me. It's on the internet. It must be true. That's what Abraham Lincoln said.
Yeah, I was mixing up Fundora with Ramirez for a second, but yeah, that's still crazy because Zurdo, he's a warrior in there. It's nothing to sneeze at, but that's still not on the level of getting the Canelo fight, which he probably lost. And I thought he would have chased the winners of Beterbiev and Bivol. That rematch is going to happen. Do they have a date for that one? Am I the Bivol and Beterbiev rematch or third fight actually?
No, I don't think so.
Huh.
But I know that was in the plans as well.
I thought they would have had that fight booked in stone. So I don't know. What do you think, Chris? You think like
What's next
Canelo?
for
No, Canelo was ducking him, and now that he lost to Crawford, that we'll never see that fight. So everybody always debates whether that was a duck or not. I think it was a duck.
I mean, it was, but I think Canelo was in a crossfire where, some people calling him out because he can go to different levels of weight.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing really made sense for Canelo, to be honest with you. Like right now, Canelo's in a situation where if I'm him, what makes sense for me to fight? I don't even think Crawford made sense for him to fight, even though I'm glad it happened. Benavidez don't make sense for him to fight. Like none of these fights would benefit Canelo. That's what I mean when it makes sense. I'm talking to my camp, and they're talking to me. None of those, they don't. If I lose, it don't make sense. Like, there's a bigger.
But if nothing makes sense, then why don't you just retire then? Because like
I think it should be. I don't know what else we need from Canelo. I don't even know. Like he's made enough money. I don't see. He's got the belts. He got all these records. I don't know what else he can do in boxing that would change anything or any of our perspective on how he is as a fighter.
But at that point, aren't you fighting for like legacy? Like.
And that's what thing. What's his legacy at right now? Because who would he fight tomorrow that would make us change our view on Canelo? Like even the Bud fight didn't make us change who Canelo is, right? I don't think it hurt him. Thank God it didn't hurt him. It only brought Bud's level up to a different level. How we look at Bud, but for Canelo, never. He's a Mexican great fighter still. Like there's nothing that I can see him change for. I think he already submitted in the Mexican world as a fighter, and then to the boxing world he's submitted. So what else can Canelo do? Like what? Like nothing. Everything hurts him right now. Nothing really helps Canelo.
But who has he beaten that has given him that like type of aura or whatnot to say that he's just this untouchable legend like that? The Triple G fights, those Triple G fights didn't age well. And then,
but he beat Triple G in his prime. I mean,
and those were controversial though. I think the last
only
fight,
2 of them, but the last one was on.
The last fight,
like, it was not even a question.
Triple G was out of his prime at that last one. Like people didn't want that fight. This was like that happened with 2021 where Triple G was already like.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like this is where we at with Canelo. Like, what fight do you want from Canelo right now? Like, who do you want Canelo to fight?
I need him to win a legacy fight. Like I'll give him
against who? Who's a legacy fighter?
Crawford, and he lost it.
I mean, that's the only name you could throw out there. I'm with Chris. There's no boxer out there that Canelo can go against that helps his legacy, other than Crawford a little bit. Like losing to Crawford did not tarnish anything on Canelo at all. It only elevated Crawford. But yeah, there's nobody with a big enough record, legacy, name out there to advance Canelo's legacy at all.
So I'll give Canelo the Triple G, even though the first one, I thought the first one was a tie. People said he lost. I thought it was a tie. Second one, people thought he lost and he won. I thought that was more decisive. And then the third one, clearly, it was 2022. Triple G was past his prime. But besides that, he lost to Floyd. That was but everybody tries to say that was a young Canelo. And then I give him the Kovalev fight at 175. That was a really good win. But then anything out of that is just like, okay, Charlo, it's the Charlo. It's a Charlo fight. I don't know. I think at this point, if you were to fight a David Benavidez, like I would give him props. If he went in there and beat Benavidez, I would give him props for that.
Yeah, but I don't even think Benavidez is like on the same level. I think Canelo would wash him in 5.
I don't think so. I don't think that he could.
You think what has Benavidez done to be on that level? To give we're talking about Canelo here. How that would help Canelo? Like it don't help Canelo.
That's what I'm just saying. But that's what I'm saying. Like it's crazy. Like we're saying, how could that help him? But like if you look at his wins, like who has he faced that's on his level? I'm guessing name wise. That Floyd Mayweather fight put him, I guess, out of this world on the name level value. And since then, I guess the Triple G, like name value, who's on Canelo's level after the Floyd Mayweather fight?
I mean, I guess that tells you that's the state of boxing right now. I mean,
That's what we've been arguing. They're not fighting each other. The time they do fight, it's too late. That's the argument. Now in his time frame, and he got no one to fight. The people he should have fought are already retired or gone, and they didn't fight him. Like that era where he came up and he was in the 47s before he went to 54. Yeah, the Spencers were there. Everybody was there. He didn't fight none of those guys at 47. And then he went to 54. Then he went up in more weight and more weight. Like he had a lot of Tim Bradley. There's a lot of people he could have fought at that time. Because at that time he was fighting Canelo. Not Canelo. He was fighting. He is Canelo. What's his name? The Puerto Rican. Miguel Cotto.
Miguel Cotto.
He fought Miguel Cotto. He find all those guys in that weight class. He could have went to the young guys and fought those young kids in his age group before they retired. But now it's just he just went up, kept going up, fighting B-level fighters. I don't want to be disrespectful, but none of the A fighters fought him, and that's where we're at right now.
I guess so. Yeah. I mean, I'll let you close this one out, Steve, and we'll move on to fights this past weekend.
Yeah, he's definitely in a situation, and I think for him to even be presentable, and that's still if it's even beneficial. That's just, I guess, if he still wants to fight, but it definitely you can't be a favorite in it. I think he has to take on a fight where he's tested, and we don't want to see like y'all just said, him fight B-level fighters. We don't want to see Canelo regret. Like you said, we haven't seen him with too many legacy fights. And how long of the stint was that from Mayweather all the way until
Triple G? That was what, 4 years or so, like in between.
Yeah, almost like a 4 year span.
And so, and then to now, that's what, 4 again.
Yeah, I mean,
probably longer for him to. Crawford was probably longer.
Yeah, the last Triple G fight, the third one was in 2022, and then Crawford was this year, so 3 years in between.
3 years. Okay.
It's like where's the like we had a conversation earlier where's the the Hagler, Thomas Hearns, back to back Durans, and it's like 1 or 2, and then build up fights. So I mean, like I say, things change over the year, but I mean, I'm a Mr. Boxing where it's back to back, multiple people, and I think that's what not only we spoke about earlier, the problem in boxing that now Canelo's asked out, based off of his own schedule, his own how he chooses. I mean, I think I see it that way.
Yeah. I mean, we kind of, even though it took us a long time to get to this point, I think, it's just really nothing for him to do. Is because he's stuck between the rock and the hard place. His name outgrew his opponent's name just because I guess marketing and boxing in general. And I mean, we could tell him that like it's really nothing for him to do but retire. But if somebody's trying to wave a $50 million bag in front of you to go out there and fight, how could you turn that down? So I don't know. It's up to him at this point. He's 90, so he's 35 at this point. So he's probably a little bit past his prime, but as we see in this past weekend, he could be 36 and still get a hefty bag if you're fighting a circus fight. So I don't know if it's Canelo go down that circus fight road, but it's no telling in this day and age. It's like one big ball of unknown in the combat sports realm these days. But I don't know. We'll see what happens going forward. But fellas, let's get into the card that happened this past weekend, going down in stunning Miami. This Jake Paul, Anthony Joshua card, but there was a few fights that happened beforehand, and kind of a crossover fight in our wheelhouse of MMA. You had Anderson Silva versus Tyron Woodley, and Anderson Silva getting a knockout win in this one. And that round one, it was a slow round, but I feel like Woodley was the more offensive fighter, and classic Anderson Silva kind of analyzing Woodley and not throwing a lot of punches. And I'm like, what kind of Anderson Silva fight are we getting now? And then that second round, Silva finally flipped the switch and landed that uppercut, and couple of right hands to follow, and Woodley kind of just stumbled down and looked like the lights weren't completely on, like he was a little bit dazed. And he stood back up, but he didn't look like that he had all his faculties, and the ref just stopped it, and that was the end of that. What were your thoughts on this one, Admire?
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy seeing old retired guys fight, but my biggest observation out of this is if you're watching UFC and it's just MMA, you see these guys and you're like, wow, man, they got hands. Those are good boxers. But if you put MMA fighters in a boxing ring like this, I was like, man, their boxing sucks. Like it's funny watching them, use their boxing in an MMA fight and the boxing looks good. But when you put them in their actual boxing, their boxing looks horrible. Like, Woodley and Silva had no boxing skills whatsoever the other night when looking at it that way. They were just kind of, hoping a bomb landed and, a lot of Silva, he was doing it like he did in MMA. A lot of his punches were coming from his hand dropped down at his hip. He was throwing from down here, and they weren't even bringing the hand back for the defense, So, I mean, it was, just sloppy. I mean, it was an all-around amateur boxing match. They had to call it a professional fight just because they've, been MMA fighters.
Chris?
Same, man. It was amateurs fighting up there. But I had Silva win. I think all of us picked Silva to win, if I'm not mistaken, last time. What? I don't know what's up with my man. He can't take a punch. Did he take punches in MMA? Because it seemed in boxing he cannot survive a punch in boxing at all. What's going on over there? Is the gloves too big over here? Like, what's happening over there?
I'll let Steve give his thoughts on that side of things, because Steve has a interesting relationship with him and Tyron Woodley. But I mean, I don't know. I mean, I think he might just have a lot of wear and tear. I don't know your thoughts on that, or Steve.
Yeah, another disappointment from somebody from our state. Like I be telling EJ, not only the movies he makes, but makes himself look dumb in comments. And I have to say this, YouTube comments. Somebody said, "Dude wipes explains it all." You know what I'm saying? He got dude wipes on his brand. But I'm just fun messing with him. But it looks like that. Silva fashion. I can say a very unorthodox, using basically just like MMA, the damn near first round is feints. You know what I'm saying? Trying to test him. And I'll give Silva that. He was always that smart as far as boxing IQ. But like when you see real boxers and you switch to them, you can definitely see the skill gap on reaction, hand back up, turning and all that. Woodley, he's a one-trick pony. Literally one-dimensional boxer in there. You see that he ran out of weapons after the first round. You see Silva was getting comfortable. And then very clever, whether if it was the MMA they used to get a reaction, thinking about just to get a mess with the brain, thinking the kick's coming. And also, in boxing, you like to have your foot placement. I also think that was a foot adjuster to where you can track it if he's regularly moving. But I've heard that Roy Jones used to do the same thing. Mm. But it looks like he got good placement on that. Was that a shovel uppercut when he stepped to that side after the step? I think that was entertaining and pretty for whatever it was. You might not see that in regular boxing these days. I don't see too many people fighting that fancy. But as far as like boxing, of course, it's not up to the elites. But I think Silva's so skillful and has so much veteran in him that he has a few tricks up his sleeve. And I think he showed that with Paul, somebody who boxes every day, and Silva was able to get with him, So congratulations to Silva. And I totally lost hope for Woodley now.
I mean, at the end of the day, Chris, I just think it's just a different sport. Like, this is the biggest difference where we see, like, there's levels to this shit between like boxing and MMA, and I feel like people kind of fell in love with the fact that Tyron Woodley was knocking people out. Like we see a lot of times with MMA fighters, like Johnny Hendricks, he was able to find a right hand and knock people out. But at the end of the day, wrestling is his bread and butter. And when you got to go in there and actually square up and show more pure boxing skills, the math didn't math up, and he was able to get exposed.
But the thing is, I just pulled up Woodley's record.
Mhm.
He only got knocked out one time in his whole MMA career, out of like a 16-year career, been knocked out once, and now he's been knocked out twice in boxing out of 3 fights.
Yeah, maybe it's the fights that he got taken down, grappling and dominating the grappling department, just mixed in with that one knockout, just is able to resonate in people's heads. But like you said, he got knocked out once. How many losses did he have towards the tail end?
Towards the end of his career, he had 4 losses in a row. Submitted once, 2 decisions, and 1 was an injury.
Yeah, so like you said, sometimes the knockouts just resonate in people's head more, and he was getting dominated in those other fights. But I don't know, man. I mean, at the end of the fight, in his post-fight interview, he said this ain't it for him. He wants to keep going. When you hear that, what do you think about that, Chris? I saw your eyes just like that when he said that.
Nah, it's over with. I'm sorry. It's done. I mean, it's fun to see him, I guess, if he's gonna do these type of cards and have him under it to fight somebody. But yeah, for me, I'm not putting no money on. I'm with Steve on this one. You got it, big dog. I'm straight.
The look you just gave, it seems like you want to see him keep going.
No, I mean, if he's gonna keep going, I mean, you gotta throw him like
Nate Robinson.
Yeah, I mean, you got to give him some absolute tomato can, but it's Tyron Woodley who's got a national name, so you can't really give him a no name. So, like, you got to give him a YouTuber, like
KSI. KSI.
No, I wouldn't even do that. That dude could throw hands a little bit. Like, you got to give him, like, one of the little nerdy YouTube guys, like
Salt Poppy.
Salt Poppy or the Rizzler or something.
Well, Salt Poppy can fight, though. Can he fight?
He wants to give him a kid. Yeah, Salt Poppy didn't look too bad against Tony Ferguson.
Yeah, I was gonna say Tony Ferguson needs to get in there with Woodley.
He said to give him the Rizzler. You gonna give him a kid? That's crazy.
Give him Hasbullah.
Give him Hasbullah. That's crazy.
Or Top G. They give him Top G.
Yeah, give him Top G.
They both. Who
the
hell is Top G?
Andrew Tate.
Andrew Tate. He just lost this week, so he took an L. They both took L's. They can fight each other right now.
That's his ring name.
Top G. That's who he is. That's what he goes by online. Top G. So
that's what. I'm totally out of that hemisphere. I see like you was about to say something, Steve.
Oh, I was like, time flies by, but actually Woodley was graduated. There's a new class of UFC now since Woodley, and he's damn near erased all his damn legacy from losing back to back. And I'm saying not for me, but for the younger kids looking up to newer champions, and really, when it's like when I first saw MMA when I was a teenager. It took me a while to download fights in my brain, and so, people's eyes on him now, and they might go look at his past fights, but I mean, certain people might not even care to look at who he is or know he's an MMA fight. Of course, they announce it on the fights, but he's not as popular. To me, he's popular, but nonetheless, the things he's done made it so less popular, and maybe business ventures, maybe, but I think he really reversed his reign in UFC with some of these losses.
Yeah, well, that's what I messaged DJ when we were watching the fights the other night, that Conor McGregor hasn't fought since 2021 and hasn't won a fight since 2020. Well, Woodley's got that beat. Woodley hasn't won a fight since 2018. So that's like how far back his, losing streak goes. Woodley's last win was September of 2018 against Darren Till. So So since then, he's gone on to lose 4 UFC fights and 3 boxing matches. Like, it is everything that he's done is kind of erased. Like, there's a whole new generation of boxing and MMA fans that just see him as kind of a scrub. Like, they don't know about the Tyron Woodley that, went in there and just absolutely smoked Robbie Lawler for the belt and like beat Stephen Thompson, Damian Maia. Like,
I think the Colby Covington did it in too. People didn't like he didn't. Everybody didn't like him. He didn't come through for us for that one. So he probably got some hate for that.
Yeah, I mean, he was on the track to before Usman got in there. He was on the track to like kind of give GSP a run for his money, but then he ran into the Usman train and it was kind of a downward spiral after that. Usman was on track to get really closely until he ran into guy from London, Leon Edwards. So yeah, I mean, it just be like that sometimes. But I don't know. We talked about the Willie side of things. What about Anderson Silva with more of these circus fights? He's 50 years old, but he still was able to get a younger guy out of there. Chris is shaking his head. So no more. You don't want to see no more Anderson Silva either.
No, I'm fine. Again, Top G's available, so they want to fight somebody. I'm recommending Top G.
But now that you said it, as far as Tyron Woodley, that might not be a bad idea. Andrew Tate on the name level, even though he's a super sketchy guy, why not just throw them in there and see what happens? I know Andrew Tate.
They're both coming off L's this weekend, right?
So did he fought on the same weekend as Jake Paul?
Yeah, it was overseas. He fought a real. Yeah, he fought another real boxer because Andrew Tate used to be a kickboxer.
Is that how he got his name value in the manosphere?
Yeah, that's how he got all his thing. But the kid he fought is not a real fighter, though. That's another thing.
I thought you said he was a real fighter, am I?
He is now, but he's like from hot and too hot to handle. Like he's from a reality TV show.
He's an actor turned boxer.
Yeah,
I seen that show. I saw like the first 2 seasons, and I'm like, man.
So you know exactly what we're talking about. It's one of these kids. He's very in shape, almost like a Jake Paul in a sense. Like he's just coming over. He's really in shape. He's an athletic kid. So
Chase the more.
Yeah.
And he got Andrew Tate out of there. Was it a finish?
And in his prior fights too, he didn't look that great. This kid, so you're hearing Andrew Tate talk to him. You're like, Andrew Tate with his background, you really don't know, but you heard he won all these belts in kickboxing. You're like, oh, this kid's in trouble, right? You're treating him like, oh, this kid, this little actor is gonna be in trouble, but it was the opposite. The actor had something for Tate, and it didn't look so good.
So took
a bad L this week? Took a bad L for the Top G people that's listening.
So was this I
think Tate has his own promotion. I think they're trying to promote this fight with his camp. So he ended up joining in. That's what I read about, and this is part of his promotion team that they're trying to get this fight thing going.
Was this a decision win from this kid, or was it a finish?
It was a majority decision win for Chase Demore, and it was for the MFB heavyweight title.
A made-up belt. A plastic belt. I don't know. Throw him in there with Tyron Woodley. This fight happened overseas.
But it brings back to what this is about, right? Boxing and the fighting world is not about, like you said earlier, Ermai, like it's about who got the most likes on Instagram or whatever the case may be. We're not getting the fights of the fights. Like, how's this fight would take your Top G even something that came up to even for him to be mentioned to get a title? He hasn't fought in who knows, like 11 years, 12 years from now. Last time he got on the fight, he's fighting for a title. Like, it's about who got the most Instagram likes.
That's the thing. This MFB, it's Misfits Boxing, founded by KSI, and it's all personalities, influencers, and celebrities in boxing matches. So it's a celebrity boxing
Oh,
league.
This is exactly what it's for. Oh, I'm sorry. I take that back. This is exactly what it's for.
That's what Tony Ferguson saw Poppy in, would it not? But I get what you're saying, Chris, but I feel like it's two sides of boxing. You got that side of boxing, but you do still have the traditional side of boxing where wins and losses matter and rankings matter. But I feel like that side you're talking about is getting more popular and starting to overshadow the real side boxing. But I feel like there's still a side of boxing where you take it seriously. But that's the way the world is going right now as far as that side of it, the circus side of it. And I don't know. And we'll be talking about the main event a little bit, but I don't know. It's overall nasty work, but I don't know. I think Anderson Silva still comes from the traditional, even though he's not a traditional boxer, he's still a combat athlete, and it'll be interesting to see what kind of fight they give him moving forward. But let's move on to the co-main event, fellas. And for the super featherweight title, you had Alycia Baumgardner defeating Layla Bourdouin by, I think it was unanimous decision. She beat her by, it was UD. This fight, we talked about it in the quickie episode we did that Bourdouin, this is the biggest, Alycia Baumgardner, this is the biggest spotlight she'd be under, so she needed to get like a convincing, decisive win. And I think it was a work woman-like performance by her in that first round. Both ladies were trying to find the range, but I feel like Alycia threw more punches in that first round, and then in that second round, Alicia's body started finding the range, and those punches were getting through, and Bourdouin's face started turning beet red. I'm like, oh, okay, I think Baumgardner might get her out of there. But as the fight moved on in that third round, Alycia banked another round. Not a lot of high output from either fighter. And then in that fourth round, more sticking and moving from Alycia. That illegal push down. I don't know. That was a little bit weird when that illegal push down happened, the way the ref reacted to it. But you could start seeing the frustration in Bourdouin's face when that happened. That fifth round, Alycia landed that nasty uppercut. And so that's what I thought it was going to be the beginning of the end. But after that, she didn't really follow up a whole lot after that. That sixth round, Bourdouin showed some heart, and you thought she might have had a little bit of comeback in there. Alycia shook it off, landed a few combos. In that seventh round, Alycia caught Bourdouin with a short right and knocked her down. So another good round for her. I gave rounds 8 through 10 through Alycia. And around 11, Bourdouin caught that second win. A nice couple shots, but didn't do enough to keep that momentum going on in that 12th round. And that was a close round, but I think I gave that one to Alycia. What were your thoughts on this one, Admire?
Yeah, the first half of the fight, it was kind of back and forth. Bourdouin opened up pretty good. Then Baumgardner kind of took over. It was good for about the first half, but then that swelling started up. And then round 7 with that, the knockdown and everything. And it was just kind of pretty much smooth sailing from there. Her face was just wrecked, man. It was swollen. And, I was on social media kind of just scrolling, and that's all anybody was talking about. They was like, damn, she is unrecognizable. So, Baumgardner, that's a big introduction onto the scene, gets her a big spotlight. So hats off to her.
On the pre-show, we were talking about how Baumgardner needs to make a statement win, and she was get the unanimous decision. Chris, what do you think puts her in a future, fights putting her into the future as far as notoriety?
Well, I think this fight was big. It was 3 minutes a round, correct?
Yeah, 3 minutes. They vouched to have the men's rule, so they wanted to go 3 minutes and 12 rounds.
I think it might. I don't know now how I feel about watching it. I think it'd been more exciting at 2 minutes, maybe too quick. That's my argument with women fights; they happen so quick. But she did what she's supposed to do. But I think at 2 minutes, it probably would have been a different fight. I think we would have had a little bit more her with urgency. With 3 minutes, you got to relax. You got to take your time. You got to really pick your spots. You have time. With 2 minutes, I think you have to go after it. I think with 2 minutes, she would have went after it. Probably would have showcased a different outcome. Hopefully with a stoppage. And I think that's what we needed from her. We were looking for a stoppage to put her on that map, to put her out there for fans to really soak into her. She fought a good fight, but the knockouts come. That's when more fans come.
Yeah, definitely knockouts always catch people's eyes. What are your thoughts, Steve?
Yeah, I think I've started to see her through the promotion towards up to the fight, and I haven't watched the fight except this one, and and it seems like she's one of those prospects where she got herself up to popularity to people to look at her, especially on this the platform they're on, Netflix. We've seen I don't even know if they're in the same weight class, but Serrano.
Yeah, Manny Serrano.
Yeah,
Serrano fights at 135, so it's only a weight class above it. And I think Serrano's gone up to 140, if I'm not mistaken. So
so
right around the same range.
so I just say if they meet, I mean that boom, she can build her stardom right now based off the popularity of especially a good fight. Usually, you don't see so much of power or so much damage on. Sometimes in women's boxing as men, but she put the whooping on her throughout the fight as far as damage. And hey, I'm down for any lady in boxing that can deliver damage to her opponent and make it entertaining too. So I'll be on the lookout for her next fight.
So Amanda fought Katie Taylor at 140, but she is the current 128 champion at featherweight. So she's actually a weight class under Baumgardner. So that fight could definitely happen. But I was thinking more so on a bigger scale, because we've seen in the press conference, or I don't know what it was, it was a standoff last year between Baumgardner and Clarissa Shields. I don't know if y'all think that's actually a possibility, because Clarissa Shields fights at one of the heavyweight women's division is 175, but the other three are like at the traditional over 200. So that's like a drastic difference in weight. But I don't know. They've been going back and forth. Y'all think that fight could actually possibly happen? Chris?
In a couple of years, I don't think right now, but I think in a couple of years, especially if she could build up her name a little bit more, I think they could make it happen.
Even with the drastic weight difference, 130.
I think they can be in the middle. They can be in the middle somewhere, right? 150 something.
At the very least.
If she fights at 140, she'll get a couple there. That means at 150, they can make it happen.
Admire, you think weight wise that could actually happen? I didn't have to be like at 154. I think at the very like super welterweight.
Yeah, 154.
Think so? You think so too, Steve? Like at 154. Go ahead, Admire.
I was trying to look ahead, and I think the fight that they said they're eyeing up for Baumgardner next is Delfina Parson.
Huh. Not the biggest name. Like I see, like Serrano, like Steve said, like be more realistic. Even though we've seen the back and forth between her and Clarissa Shields. Like I said, Serrano lost those 3 fights to Taylor. Like what else is there for Serrano to do at this point? But to maybe fight like a Baumgardner. I don't know. Yeah. I mean, Serrano, like no disrespect, but she's my age and me and Chris's age. She's no spring chicken, so like. It's now or never as far as like get that bag while you can. So yeah, it'll be interesting. Like I said, the biggest stage Baumgardner's been on. So it'll be interesting to see if they match her with who Admire said they're gonna match her with. And she's got the skill, so I'm curious to see what they do with her going forward. But fellas, let's move on to what the people came for. The main event of this night. Jake Paul taking on Anthony Joshua at heavyweight, a fight that happened kind of out of nowhere after Tank Davis dropped out of the fight. So, but let's get into the X's and O's of it. That first round, a lot of smoke and mirrors. Only a few punches land by either fighter. A lot of backpedaling for Paul and Joshua. Both looked a little slow and plotting, and I'm like, oh boy, what kind of fight are we going to get in this? In that second round, Joshua banked around because Paul refused to engage. It was like maybe a total of 10 punches landed or thrown at all, and I think Joshua landed just a couple more than Paul. I'm like, oh boy. And in that third round, a lot of the same, no engagement by Paul. He was just running around, backpedaling, trying to stick and move, just trying to survive. And then in that fourth round, a lot of foolishness from Paul trying to go for the takedown like he was in a different sport. And all I could do was shake my head at that point. And then in that fifth round, the action finally picked up. You saw Joshua get those 2 knockdowns. And then round 6, caught him flush with that right hand. It was over for him. Dropped the knee, and the referee came in there. And I kind of want to go to you first, Chris, because when we were doing the pre-show, I said I think he'll get him out there in the first couple of rounds. But I said at the very least, we'll see Anthony Joshua carry him, and then he'll get him out of there in the middle to late rounds. And that's what happened. You thought Paul would win by like unanimous decision. So what are your thoughts on this one, Chris?
Well, I was leaning that way the first 2 rounds. I was a little worried because Joshua, to me, is a way better fighter than what we saw in those first 2 to 3 rounds. I felt like he was giving him a chance to be in the fight. He didn't go for any headshots. It was all body shots, which is a good strategy, especially if you're fighting someone that's not on your level. You get to slow down their body and you don't want to really damage them. But I looked at that as like, is this guy sparring with him? Like, what is he doing? Why is he not trying to finish this fight off? Because as you guys saw, there's multiple chances, which was frustrating me, that he could have hit a couple of headshots, couple of jabs to the face. It's like Joshua wasn't trying to throw punches. So that was getting me upset. So I was like, all right, hopefully this is not rigged. Hopefully this is a real fight. To Jake's defense, he got in there with a big body guy. Really couldn't move him. I mean, Joshua, what, 6'6", 6'4"? I mean, he's a huge frame, huge body, can box. So, you know, he I think he did the best as he could, but, you know, he learned that there's levels to this. I think that was just too much for him to bite off, just to even have fun with. Even if they was to spar in a real, just to be practicing, it was just Josh was a little too big for him, just too fast, too big. And my biggest thing about Jake, if he's taking the sport serious, my problem with him all the time is it's good that you go for the one-hit punches, but you got to put punches together to make it a fight. He never put punches together. So you're not scaring nobody by throwing one punch at a time. So when you're fighting a real boxer like Joshua and you're not putting 1 or 2, 3 punches together, you only throw one punch at a time, it's not going to get it done.
Abire?
Yeah, well, where to begin? Well, with the I mean, I guess I'll start with, you know, the first couple rounds with Jake Paul backing up, something that you really haven't seen him do. It's because you haven't really seen him go against a real boxer. He finally knew he was in a position of danger and he couldn't really step forward. That's what a real boxer is going to do, is going to put the pressure on him and not allow him to work forward. So, you know, that's why he kept getting cornered. That's why he kept his back on the ropes, because he, you know, his footwork was disturbed. He was out of his element. Like, he wasn't in control. That's exactly what it was, because Anthony Joshua is a true, you know, master of his craft. He's freaking Olympian, you know, and that's, you know, my next point. You know, when they were doing the walkouts and everything, I was explaining to my old lady, we were watching it. I was like, dude, Joshua's, you know, former champ, Olympian. And I told her all about everything. I was like, if he really wanted to in this fight, he could end this in like under 2 minutes. And then the fight starts and it's just so slow. She's like, I thought you said this guy was good. I was like, okay, something's going on. Like, this is not how he fights. This is not the Anthony Joshua, you know, the Andy Ruiz or, you know, Francis Ngannou. I was like, they might have a no knockout clause, or he wants this fight to go on a little bit. This isn't right. And then I noticed that the first couple rounds, it was body shots only. But then if Joshua did throw a shot to the head, if you slow it down, he would drop it at the last second and he would hit Paul's shoulder. Every one of his shots was rolling into the shoulder instead of keeping them on the head. And then about that fifth rounds where it's kind of like he just said, screw it. And he started landing whatever he wanted. And that's why, you know, Paul started getting hurt, because Joshua started trying, and the body shots were wearing on him. The head shots were wearing on him, and he just couldn't do anything. And if you pay attention, Anthony Joshua wasn't even breathing. Like, this wasn't even a sparring session for him. He just, I mean, he was just standing there, just like lobbing those punches. It wasn't nothing to him. So, I mean, I was entertained by it just because I finally got to see what I've always wanted to see, like just a real boxer show Jake Paul that he's not what he thinks he is. Now, I'm going on and on, but is Jake Paul a good boxer? No, but Jake Paul is better than 99.999% of the general public at boxing. So the people talking shit on him, still can't beat him at boxing. I will say that. Is he decent? Yes, he could probably beat a lot of people on local circuits, but is he top 20? No. Is he top 40? Maybe, but that's about it. He's never going to win a legit championship, but he does train hard. He does try. I'll say that. And, he's brought a lot of eyes to boxing.
Now hold up. Before I get to you, Steve, there's a lot to unpack with that. You say
too much.
You said he was pulling punches, like throwing it at his shoulders. That's a serious allegation you're throwing out there, am I?
If you look,
you can see it.
A lot of Joshua's punches landed on his shoulder. If you go back, he landed shoulder shot after shoulder shot.
I'm gonna have to go and rewatch.
A lot of even the hooks. If you look at the hooks that he thrown, that he missed, Joshua missed those hooks. Come on, he was overthrowing the hooks. He was timing everything perfect. Like I said, I've seen this in the gym 100 times. When you know you can hurt somebody, the corner will be like, "Hey, listen, body shots only. Don't hit him in the head." Joshua could have ended this fight a long time ago. So he took it to 7 because for us, for the fans to see this guy get beat up and be outmatched, but it was over early. It was like there was nothing the boy could do. So and this is my argument for him. This is why I feel bad for him, because I see him fight. I see him really training the game, but I can't really see him be a real good fighter because, again, he's not fighting at his level and he's not fighting where I see him put punches together. If you're not going to put punches together, like if you saw the girl fight, the women are putting punches together. I've never seen Jake put punches together. So I can't put him on a level and say that he's even a C-level fighter because C-level fighters know how to put punches together.
So I'm more with you, Chris. Like if he was just like playing around his food just to give fans a show, I can see that happen. But for you, am I to say that there's this so-called no knockout clause? Like wouldn't he lose his bag if he's just to go rogue and say fuck the no knockout clause, and I'm just gonna go off script?
Well, I'm not saying there was.
That's illegal.
I'm just saying
that's super illegal. No knockout clause. That's not even legal to do.
Well, was there no knockout clause? That's a rumor around town.
That's illegal. That's like people are saying like I could see them having like a handshake behind the scenes, saying, "All right, we're gonna spar with each other," but there's no such thing as a no knockout clause. That's illegal.
I mean, there might have been. I'm just saying there could have been a gentleman's agreement, or they might have said, "Hey, let's give the fans a good show." Wink, wink, something. I'm not saying it was rigged or fixed or anything. I'm just saying that if you really watch the fight, go back and watch it. A lot of those shots were, Anthony Joshua is, like I said, an Olympian. He knows how to land punches, and a lot of them were, wild for him. They were into the shoulder. They were, missed behind the head a little bit. They were coming up short. Like, just watch it and you'll see what I'm talking about.
I'll let you get in on this, Steve.
Well, as far as like
fight over in general,
faking the fight, I would say it's fake until you see a real life consequence happen. So I say it was like, damn, this shit, not fighting. But like I said, if it was on the other side where contextually Joshua was getting beat up by Jake Paul, then there would be some.
Is that hypothetically?
Yeah. Okay. If it were so. But even if it was rigged, you really can't say this is rigged because the person wasn't supposed to beat up the person losing. He was expected to win. So if he didn't get him out of there, then I would say, yeah, there's 50%, if not more. But Jake took a real life punch, whether he played with him, soothed him through the night. You know how Anthony Joshua is big. I mean, you really, yeah, you can say he's going easy on him, but I hear certain people in boxing, like they're so strong, and Joshua's big, probably got big hands. Jake was way smaller. All you have, Joshua is so big, all you gotta do is just throw it at his shoulder. I bet you his shoulder feels everybody had somebody, big brother, big punch you in the arm, go dead. Man, you're doing that all night. And I think that's an effective tactic in boxing, especially when you're fighting a lesser skilled boxer. They'll crumble under that. And can we give it up to Jake Paul and his facial expressions, man? That should be studied by psychologists. He saw it coming. You could just see his face before it came. I can't avoid this. I'm too tired, and landed flush on the jaw. Let alone all through the fight, you can literally see fear in his face. Plus, also the immediate reaction to where you literally, out of all sports, you really see the heart of a man in a fighting combat sport. And what was his natural reaction to get out of what was coming? I mean, we don't even see professional or too much amateur boxers do this, but go for a takedown for the legs to save yourself. Most boxers have enough honor to probably bob and weave out of the and not take the easy. I mean, how many kneels? And if there was rules on kneeling too much or 3 knockdown rule, you'd be done.
So many kneels. Look, he's about to get knighted out there, but that's a good segue. Jake Paul got his jaw fucking broken in this one. 2 fractures in his jaw.
Liquid diet.
Liquid diet, like Amar said. So did he earn his keep? $92 million, but a broken jaw in 2 places. Did he earn his keep in the sport? I'm guessing. Amar, I'll let you kick it.
I mean, he didn't show anything new. I didn't see anything new out of him. I mean, Chris is saying the same thing. The last time we talked about it, he's still not putting combos together. He's taking stick and move way too serious. He throws a punch and that's it. Like, he's not progressing. Like, I don't know what his coaches aren't teaching him. Like, does he not have real boxing coaches? I mean, his cardio was all right. I mean, he made it that long into the fight. His cardio's decent. He's strong. His body looks good, but his boxing skill is not advancing. For having as much money and time and dedication and training as he has, like, his boxing skills should be way more advanced than what they are. Like, I don't know. Like, I don't think he deserves to, like, keep moving up in rankings and, like, actually get, legacy fights, like, he shouldn't be fighting Canelo. He shouldn't be fighting anybody of noteworthy status, but I don't know, he needs to stick to circus fights, but not ex real fighters. Stick to the YouTubers and stuff like that. Stop crossing lines and blurring it. Quit beating up retired guys.
So he's ranked number 14 in the cruiserweight division. You don't think he has or deserves a chance to move up the rankings in that? Maybe fight a number 10 person so he can keep moving up the ranks and seeing where he does from there.
But he never really. What did he do to earn his spot right there?
He beat Julio Cesar Chavez.
Come on. See, you can't even say it with a straight face.
He's still a former world champion.
So was Mike Tyson.
Yeah, but Julio Cesar Chavez is at least underneath the age of 40.
But, okay, if Jake Paul gets another real boxing match, give him the number 20 guy at least. Like, make him fight the number 20 guy.
What's his name?
Tommy Fury? I don't know if Tommy Fury is ranked.
And he couldn't beat him.
Yeah,
that's the point I'm trying to get. And Fury put more punches together. That's why he won that fight. And that's my fight. That's my argument. Like, if he fights like a minimum at Fury, then I can see improvement. He don't throw no combinations. We can't even get the 1-2, the basic one in the fight. We only get the 1 punch at a time. Like, we can't even get the basic 1-2. Forget about the 1-2-3 or the 1 and the 4s. Forget about that.
People can't evolve, Chris. Like, in the words of Rick James, that was weeks ago when he fought Fury. That was years ago. He can't evolve.
You think he could beat him now?
Maybe, yeah. I feel like Paul's improved some. He can maybe beat a Tommy Fury at this point. Would that fight happen 2022 or so?
And he hasn't fought no one. Like, I don't know. I just don't see it. I want Aaron Ryan on this one. He hasn't put nothing for all the time he has with him taking the sport serious as he's supposed to. He looks good on the pads, but I don't know what he's doing in the sparring because it's not adding up into the ring. And I've seen that. It does take a while for it to go in the ring because what you do in practice is not what you do in the ring or what you do in sparring. Of course, not in front of millions of people and they're watching you, but something got to transfer over. And I haven't seen it with Mike or any of the other fighters that he's fought against that any of that transfer over. Yeah, he knocked out, old fighters and old people, but I haven't seen him do anything like that makes me be like, oh yeah, he's a top 20 fighter. No.
Last time he had a ranking, I'm seeing Tommy Fury is ranked 39 at cruiserweight. So that's not too shabby, is it?
That's what I'm saying. If you want to see where Jake Paul's really at, put him against number 20. See if he can even beat somebody in, around that 20 spot to earn his, number 14 spot. Like, I don't think he deserves to be there. Or, here's an idea. If Jake Paul's listening, put him on a show like The Contender. Why don't he start his own reality show and compete for a real spot, in boxing?
That show hasn't been on. I know what you're saying he could just create his own one, but the actual Contender show, I think that was the last time that was 2010. That's been a while since that show's been on there.
Nah, it was on in 2018.
They had like a revival of it. I don't think that did much. They put it on a network nobody heard of when they did it.
It was on Epics.
Yeah, like an Epic. Yeah, the NBC version of it. It's been a while. But I mean, I don't know. I feel like y'all being a little harsh on Jake Paul. I
think you're giving him too much credit. Are you crazy? You're giving way too much credit.
Going in there with Anthony Joshua, that took some big cojones to go in there and do what he did.
I would go in there if Joshua was gonna fight like that. I would fight him too.
95 million, I'll go against anybody. 95 million, I'll fight anybody.
You'd risk death, Admire, to get it. You'd risk death to go in there because you might literally die. I don't know. I value my life is priceless. I wouldn't get in there, but no amount of money you could put me to risk death. Too many people die in the boxing ring. I mean, maybe that's a different thing because I might probably get taken down and choked out, and I'll definitely get in the cage for that amount of money. But nah, man, I'm not trying to get any type of life risk in. And I don't know. What do you think? Like, am I overselling Jake Paul's skills, Steve?
I should say somewhat. I mean, the background. I mean, coming up, how did you even touch the threshold of even fighting Anthony Joshua? Damn, you didn't even get Ngannou first, and that would have been a good test before you're fighting an active heavyweight boxer. I believe this one was the one that he couldn't hide from. I was like, ain't no way Joshua would leave out this fight without hurting him somehow. And if there was a clause not knocking him out, he took the deductible, which was well done for everybody wanted to see it. So I think everybody wanted to see it because the atmosphere in the air was he wasn't good enough, which is proven. I mean, not Tyson, Tommy Fury, and he lost to that. It's a big leap of skill gap to Anthony Joshua to even deserve that or even fight anybody between to get there. True results, that's what happened, man. He couldn't hide it, and I think if Joshua didn't perform that, it would look very bad on his part. Or the future boxing matches on that promotion.
Yeah, I mean, say what you want about the guy. Yeah, he generates eyes. I don't know if you had this in front of you. How many views did this Netflix fight get this past weekend, Admire? It had to be around. Like, I heard everybody, because all over my social media algorithm, you see ESPN talking about it, and it was all over the place. I don't know if it got more views. It definitely probably didn't get more views than the Tyson fight, but probably got more views than the Terrence Crawford Canelo. If I had to guess.
It says
they're
between
smart.
90
Go ahead,
between
Adam.
95 and 110 million live views.
That's even more than the Tyson fight, which is crazy because I think the Tyson fight got 80 million or something like that. That's crazy. I didn't think it would get that many views. So, Chris, what do you say about that? He's Mr. Moneybags. Like he's gonna keep getting big fights after this.
The new stars now, especially living over here in California. The new stars are the YouTubers, the Twitch people, the online people. They're the new stars right now, right? They're more stars than whatever we known as celebrities back in the day. They're more famous than the quote unquote athlete, the movie star, the TV show star, the singer. The people online and YouTube are bigger draws than anything in the world right now. So this is a big space to be.
I got to push back on that a little bit. They're the most popular people right now. They're more popular than today's movie star, but back in the day, you had everybody watching TV at one time. So it's so many places to watch things. So you do have these super popular, but it's super saturated. So many of them, like you have this popular person and there. So it's not. It's
that's what actors is. Everything. Every field has a lot of everything in it, right? But when you're a superstar in that field, you are the top. You're the top person. You're a top person. And Jake was able to, from YouTube to Vine to whatever he got to now, he capitalized on that. I think that it actually needs to be studied on what he has done. And a lot of people are trying to copy this way he's gone. And for him to have the ability to be in shape and to really do this and take it to the next level, I do commend him on that. But I mean, I see this as a playbook that's going to keep going because, like I just saw with like that kid that we just saw, I was just talking about with Top G that he fought is another kid that's just an actor. He's in good shape. And he's already got a whole bunch of fights off, and he's trying to build his way up, and he's talking junk, and he's like they have these young kids that are into that. They have that. They have the speaking skills. They know how to draw a crowd. They have fans already. They got people that support them already in the game, where it's easy to put eyes on these guys. So I think that's just the key. What's going on now? That's my thing now. It's a little different on how we look at sports and how we look at these guys into the game. And Jake is the catalyst for it, the beginning step. And I think now everybody's reaching to be like him.
Yeah. The streamers and the YouTubers are the most popular stars right now, but it's not like it was back in the day when everybody had to watch TV at the same time. I don't think there would be nobody as big as Michael Jackson on the planet, like where everybody was tuning in to watch the Thriller premiere. But yeah, like you said, that's the new TV star is the streaming star nowadays, and that's what we have. And Jake Paul's like the top of that heap of that mountain, the him and the KSIs, and I guess the Top G's. I'm not too familiar with them, and then there's some other lady stars at the top of the streaming platform as well. But yeah, I mean,
it's more interesting this way. Think about this, guys. You have a guy that yesterday was probably working at you or was working at the mall with you as a young kid. You probably working fast food, and next thing you know, you're watching him, and he's on this show. He's over here. Next thing you know, he's on YouTube. Next thing you know, he's fighting people. Like it almost makes it so real. Where that could be me. That could be me. There's more connection to these people.
That's why the Kimbo fights were so big, man. He was just a guy from the streets just beating everybody's ass. Like it's always, the everyman, the person out in the general public that fights is always more interesting than a trained real fighter.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Like that was like the beginning. Like that was the prototype was a Kimbo Slice, and it blossomed on to where you have the smartphones. The smartphones changed everything. When everybody had the internet at the palm of their hands and was able to watch. So that's the way of the world. But it's getting late early, so there's a couple more things I want to ask before we get on out of here. Going to the more serious side of things, the winner of this actual fight. I see like people talking about the loser more than the winner. Anthony Joshua, where does he go from here? Does he finally try to get the Fury fight? Because I think we're going to see Fury do the rematch in January. So you think maybe Joshua sits in there and waits for the winner of that? I don't know. Where does Joshua go from here, Chris?
Got $92 million the last time I checked, right in his pocket for something for 7 rounds. I don't think he's worrying about boxing right now, to be honest with you. I
don't
think it's
know.
all for thought. Has he been really like that
We
fight
see-
ain't there for him? I don't think so.
I don't know. Usyk, I don't nobody's touching Usyk right now, but Usyk and Fury are probably gonna have the rematch. I think it's pretty much set in stone. But I don't know. You don't think they're saying that he would bank between the 92 and like 60 million from the fight? I'm hearing that he may have not gotten as much as Jake Paul. So I know the British pound doesn't carry as much as the US dollar, but still, even if he's banking 50 pounds or whatever, he's set for life. But you don't think he's still doing it for the love of the sport and maybe getting in with the winner of Usyk and Fury?
I don't. He's another one. Like, what's he fighting for at this time?
I mean,
Because I'm
I
not
don't
saying
know.
they're washed, but at this point, the good fights he should already took. He didn't take. So if he takes them now, be nice. But I think he missed out on a lot of opportunity to fight some few people that we talked about before. I don't know if you can get that back with Father Time. They don't look the same.
He fought Usyk twice.
But that's not the people I'm talking about.
You're talking about
Fury.
that. You're talking about the Fury and the Wilder. It's a shame. That
Yeah, like I feel like those are the legacy fights for him. Like we'd be having a different talk if he already had those 2 in the belt and we saw those outcomes and see how that went.
I don't know. How you feel about that, Admire?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think he's too old yet, but everybody wants the Fury fight. But I think that now that Joshua's a little bit older and he's got a few losses on his record, it's not as big as it should be. But I think it's still a fight that has to happen just because we have to know what if. And with Fury coming out and talking crazy shit to him last week, I think he's kind of setting himself up. I think Fury and Usyk are lined up, but I think Fury is setting himself up to face Joshua and at least get that fight in. So I don't know what else you would do with Joshua other than kind of run it back or give him somebody that he's probably just going to wash. I mean, he probably should just take a break for a minute and just kind of sit on it and think, I did pull it up. It was 93 million that he got paid. That was his cut of it. Him and Paul were splitting like 190 and his was 93 million of it. And it said something like after taxes, he was still going to walk away with 66 million. That's, I have to assume Joshua's biggest payday ever in the boxing world. I mean, that's what they call fuck you money. Like you really don't ever have to box again if you don't want to. At this point, you're boxing for the love of the game. So you can pick your next fight if you want.
After he pays all his trainers and everything else, I wonder he probably still walk away with 40, 50
or 50 a minimum, 40, 50.
I heard he had to pay tax twice. Once in the US and one in
UK.
I don't. Can they do that? I don't know if that's.
That's what I heard he had to do.
Yeah, it says even after he's taxed twice, he's walking away with 60. And even if you pay your coaches and your trainers and all that, the 10%, I think is what it usually is. I mean, that's 6 million of it. So he's still walking away with 54. Even if he bumps it up 20%, that takes it down to 48 million. Well, yeah, that's nothing to sneeze at. I mean, he's still gold. Like he can call the shots. He can fight whoever he wants. He don't have to fight. He could, do whatever.
Yeah, he hit the lotto.
Well, guys, you think he's gonna think about it? That's the whole point of fighting Jake Paul at this point. I don't think you fight Jake Paul and then you go into a legacy fight after Jake Paul. I think when you fight Jake Paul, you're already in the sunset. You're already looking at the sunset. Like, all right, I'm already done. I'm already over the hill. I'm out. I'm cashing out.
Who's he gonna fight? Who's gonna fight Top G? Besides, you said either cash out or you think he's gonna fight like a Top G?
Who you talking about?
Anthony Joshua.
I'm figuring when you go down that line and you go down that lane, like when I saw Tank going down that lane and he wasn't trying to fight the other people they supposed to fight, like, all right, we know where you're at. We know your mentality. You're done.
They've already took the exit.
Yeah, you're ready for the exit. You're going this route already. You can't go that route and come back. We haven't seen it done.
I think you can't. I think you can come back. I don't know.
Boy, he did it. He never came back.
You said who did it?
Floyd did it and never came back.
Floyd does them
Well, he
stupid
retired-
New
he
Year's
retired.
fights.
But he retired though. He officially retired. This was
But I'm
actually
saying he did that fight with Connor, and then he never turned back. He never took a real serious fight after
Yeah,
that.
he does them stupid New Year's fights over in Japan and shit
those
like
are,
that.
those are exhibitions though. If we were to see Anthony Joshua retire, I agree with y'all. I guess he will never, but I don't think he's officially retired. It sounds like he still wants to get in there. He was talking there like he's still in his prime, even though he's not in his prime.
He got $92 million in 7 rounds. I'll be talking crazy too.
I just don't think. I think we still see he doesn't have to do it like y'all said, but y'all almost kind of convincing me that this is it for him. But I just think he still wants to get in there and get that legacy fight with a Fury. But I think he has to wait for that.
I mean, that's the only fight that I want to see just because of selfish reasons, just because I've always wanted to see that fight. I mean, for Joshua, if I was him, I would want to get, one of the bosses back, which Usyk, he's not going to get a win back from that. We've already seen it. He's had 2 chances. What's his other loss? Dubois. So, I mean, he can call for that fight, but does he deserve it? Probably not. So I don't think he's going to get that fight. So might as well have fun with it, pick on, call out some big actor that likes to fight and make another $50 million,
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see where he goes moving forward. He has his options, or he could just go off in the sunset. But before we get on out of here, we talked about Jake Paul. Admire saying he should probably get in there top 20. But realistically, who do you see Jake Paul fighting next? Now that he got his jaw broken, he has to recuperate. So we probably won't see him probably till Q3, Q4 next year. If you would have to guess, what type of fighter does Jake Paul get in there with next? Admire, seems like you're pondering about it, so I'll let you kick it off.
I mean, after a crazy loss like that, especially with him being as popular as he is, but he's way more popular than he's got skill. So he has to get a win back now. So he's going to bring in somebody to fight next that has a big name, but not enough skill, somebody that he can beat. So he's got to take a win. So it probably won't be like Andrew Tate or somebody like that, but it'll be somebody that's got just a crazy big name. Probably like a Nate Diaz. Again, it'll be like a rematch with him or Conor McGregor, a boxing match with Conor. I guarantee you some shit like that, just to get a win back, to get the views and all that, because he's not going to go against somebody that can beat him again. Jake Paul takes 2 losses in a row, then he really loses a lot of viewers, and a lot of sponsorship. Like a lot of the sponsors aren't going to want to keep paying for him to lose. The reason, the sponsors pay money is the views. If he keeps losing, he don't get the views.
What do you think, Chris?
I don't see it.
You don't see him fight at all.
I think this was bad for him. I think this was really bad. I think it exposed him too much. Like you had the fans that wanted to see him lose, and the way he lost was convincing enough, but too convincing where it looked like he didn't belong there. So I don't know where you go when you're top 20 and you who you supposed to fight. We just had this conversation. It's not respectable. Who's gonna fight that's gonna be respected? And then who's gonna be the name for him to fight that everybody's gonna want to see? Because if you have him fight the kid down the street at the gym that's ranked 30, no one knows who this kid is, right? You need him to fight someone that's popular, but that person that's popular is not really gonna be as good a talent as a real fighter. So he's in a real tough situation where if we want to take him serious in the sport, he's going to have to fight someone with talent, but that person with talent might not have the name to back it up for him to sell. So for him to sell, he's going to have to fight some Mickey Mouse fight, and it's really not going to look like, oh yeah, you beat up this person, but when it comes to a real fight, you can't fight. So I think he's in a hard place right now. I don't see another fight actually happening.
And so at all, no fights at all happening.
I mean, unless you're throwing back on the Tank and all the other people that's about to retire out and they're trying to get their last and that big names. But when it comes to him really taking on boxing and really fighting the next fight, you can't really have him go against another YouTuber. I mean, he just fought one of the best fighters in the world, of all time. And now you can't downgrade on the skill level or the popularity. And there's no one that can feed that. I don't know who fight. What, Canelo? That's the only next. Like, who else you got on that? Like,
yeah, I think it's a few names. Before I get to that, Steve, what do you think?
Well, I do believe the carrot on the stick, so to speak, of if he can perform professional level, and I think he just went too many levels to even market that anymore. As far as his next fight, I would say what makes sense, man. Anthony Joshua, the last person he beat in these celebrity fights, Ngannou and Jake Paul. And I think, I can see it.
That's interesting. I don't know, because Ngannou doesn't have traditional boxing skills, so maybe that fight would work.
Possibly, but he has entered the realm of a professional. Was that an exhibition?
Twice. No, both of them were pro fights. Both of them were pro fight. They weren't exhibitions. They were.
And he hurt one of the biggest big dogs out there. I don't know. I don't see.
He hurt Fury.
Like Chris said, styles make fights. It might be a good fight for them. They've entered the professional boxing realm, regardless of how much skill they went too fast or too low. I mean, they both got sparked by the same person. So I think that would permit them, not even looking at their skill level, it would permit them to make an understanding fight with each other, especially the history. Anthony Joshua beat them both.
Chris, you don't think Ngannou and Paul would be interesting though?
No.
Why not?
Because I mean, I guess, but I don't see it. I mean, that's probably one of his tops, I guess, unless he called Mayweather up or something like that. But I don't really see, for us to take him serious, who he could fight. I don't even know why he would want to fight Ngannou. Like, why would he want to do that fight?
I guess it's interesting and entertaining. You couldn't see that fight happening at Admire?
I could. That's what I'm saying. He will probably pull a big name UFC or MMA fighter just to get the views and keep it seeming like he's legit picking people that have the skill. But we know the MMA boxers aren't true boxers, so he's going to pick people that make it sound like he's legit, but not. Ngannou, it would be like, oh man, he's fighting this heavyweight knockout artist. Ngannou's got all these knockouts and blah blah blah. But Ngannou's not a true boxer. He stood in there with Fury. That was a weird fight in itself. But then, we found out Ngannou really can't box because Joshua just beat the shit out of him. So, I mean, if Paul really trained, he might give Ngannou a little run for his money because he's not a boxer. That would give, that would catapult Paul right back into all these people thinking that, man, he's a pretty good boxer.
Yeah, that definitely would try to probably get the birds chirping if he would be getting back in there and do good. But I don't know, man. I was with Abba. I thought it would be more so like a Connor or a Nate Diaz just to shake off the rust. Maybe even going there and face who's I thinking of? He already faced Silva, so I don't see that rematch happening. Oh no, going back and getting the Tank Davis fight going back again. Because he's a lighter fighter, but I don't know. Ngannou, that's an interesting one as well. Like Chris, you don't even see the Tank fight getting put back on.
I think that's a little. I think he has a fight on a little lower than him. I like what you guys were going with, an MMA fighter before he goes back to a real boxer. I think he needs to go a different route first, get that view power again to show that he can beat up somebody again or just be competitive. And once he does that, then we can throw him back in the ring. I think you can sneak in a Tank or someone like that. Or even a Crawford or a Canelo at that time, if he's able, because now he hasn't beat no real boxers, but he could beat up these guys. So I don't think you can go back to back because he hasn't. Even with the Fury fight, when he lost, he didn't fight another boxer again. He went to MMA, right? So I think that's what he does: build it back up. It shows.
I feel like he fought a few cans after that. I don't know if you have his record right in front of you, Admire. Then he fought like a few cans in between the Fury fights, and then he fought. I want to say it was a Tyson fight after that, after the cans, if I'm not mistaken.
But he fought MMA fighters, I'm guessing.
Okay,
right?
so he fought Nate. It was the Diaz fight after it was after the Tommy Fury, but then he fought the cans, and then Mike Perry, and then Tyson. So yeah, that was a weird where he fought those two cans. It was late 2023 and then 2024. So we were doing the shows. We probably even reviewed those fights. We reviewed so many damn fights. It's so hard to keep up with. But yeah, Andre August, whoever that is, he doesn't even have a Wikipedia page.
Andre August, isn't that the one that fucked Jada Smith?
That's August Alsina.
Is that? I'm about to say,
That's funny.
Wait, hold on.
That's August Alsina. That's funny.
Yeah.
I knew it was 2 A's.
That's fun. That's hilarious. That's hilarious. That'll be one for the TikTok. But and then Ryan Borland, like whoever that is, that was in
Ryan Borland. They promoted him as an ex-boxer or a champion boxer or something, but he did not look like any boxer that I had ever seen. He looked like he'd been out of the game for a while.
But you were impressed with the Mike Perry win, am I?
Yeah, I mean, Mike Perry, I mean, he's not a traditional boxer, but I mean, he's a bare knuckle boxer. So, I mean, his game is standing and winging them. And I mean, that's pretty much kind of what Jake Paul does, is throwing the big one shots. So, I mean, I figured that, was going to be a decent fight, but, and Jake Paul outboxed him. I mean, that was the name of the game. I mean, Jake Paul was better than Mike Perry at boxing.
That's crazy how y'all just shitting on Julio Cesar Chavez.
That fight was the worst fight we saw. You saw it. He didn't even try.
I mean, even Julio Cesar Chavez Sr. is ashamed of his son. Didn't he get arrested for moving bricks or something crazy?
Yeah, I think they got picked up by ICE or something at that time.
Yeah, and then he was even fighting just ex-MMA fighters at the end of his career.
Then Silva beat him.
Yeah, he lost to Anderson Silva. I mean,
he beat Uriah Hall though. That's not Steve, that is it?
Uriah Hall's not a boxer.
I know. The Canelo. I think the Canelo fight was the peak of Chavez Jr. career, and then there was just win loss after that. 2 losses.
I'd seen him in real life. I thought he was bigger than that. Like when I saw him in real life. On TV and stuff, I thought he was a little bigger, especially he fights at a heavy weight class. I told him, oh, he's not that big of a man. So, could see him losing.
Yeah, but still a world champion. But I don't know. We'll see, man. Like I said, $92 million. If he's able to get that bag again, they're gonna do something with him. So we'll see what happens after he recuperates. He'll be having that liquid diet, like Amar said earlier. So.
I'm hoping he hears me talk shit about him and call me out next. That's the next. That's why I'm trying to keep talking shit about him. I'm trying to be next. I'm trying to get out of retirement. Hope he catches his feet of this. He can't fight, Jake.
Yeah, let's get Chris Sanders in there. Let's get him that bag.
But I got amateur. I got over. Let me promote myself. 55 amateur boxing. Try to go to the Olympics. See, I got some boxing in me. Show me you can throw more than 3 punches.
Okay, yeah. Challenges thrown out there, Jake Paul. If you're listening to this, we'll have a representative from Haymaker Combat Sports get in there and mix it up.
Yeah.
And there's one fight we didn't talk about. Did you happen to see the Andre Arlovski fight?
Yeah, Steve sent me the clip from that. I don't know what your thoughts on that. Him going against what's the floppy hair kid name? I can't even remember.
Jack Doherty. Yeah, so Jack Doherty, I don't know if you've ever seen this little asshole, little broccoli-headed fuck, but his little stick is he is like 5'5", little jerk off, but he has big bodyguards, and he like shoulder checks people out in public, and then when they step to him, his bodyguards jump in. That's his little fucking game he plays. Well, he tried it at the boxing match the other night. on Andrei Arlovsky, not knowing who he was. And like him and like 4 of his friends jumped on Arlovsky, and so did the bodyguard. Well, fucking the bodyguard like realized who it was and backed off. Jack Doherty hid behind the bodyguard. There's video of it. And Arlovsky just like starts tossing those fucking kids around and swinging. And he had his fucking phone in his hand the whole time. It didn't drop his phone, nothing. Like, didn't give a shit.
It's like stupid game when it's stupid prizes. It's like, I just hate everything that's done for clout nowadays. I don't. You sent me the clip, Steve. Like, what were your thoughts when you first watched it?
Automatically, I was like, they don't know who he's fighting. And especially the kid swinging on him. They definitely didn't know, because I mean that's what you're gonna have to do, jump him, and even then you saw how pathetic that was. Trained fighters dropping him and throwing him and swinging him around like you would see a female swinging a girl's hair around. You know what I'm saying? If they're in a fight, no, he was swinging them around and dropping them. And I don't think they really did, or maybe I didn't hear they're getting cute or weirded, like, hey, y'all stop. I think Jack Doherty, he was even say, let's go. Maybe he got put in the ear that who that person was. But I don't think he did it. I think he reacted off of what do you call that in psychology? A Freudian slip. He walked past him and didn't like him, and then he actually approached Jack first. But everybody was saying, well deserved. You were all, on your side for doing that to Jack.
Yeah, now Jack Doherty's on the internet calling out Arlovsky, saying he wants to fight him.
Yeah, right.
Okay, all right, yeah. I don't know. He'll get his life rearranged. He'll get his life ruined. It's just all for clout and.
Is that what this kid does? He jumps in, bumps famous people or random people, anybody?
There's random people at the mall and stuff. He shoulder checks them, and then his big fucking bodyguard steps in. Like,
oh, so he just randomly did it to this guy, and he didn't know. Like, he really didn't know who he did it to.
Yeah, like the bodyguard like swings on Arlovsky and then fucking backs up. Like, he knows who he is.
So this has to be staged. The ones when he does the random people, because you have to get signed off for you to put the footage out there on social media, don't you?
I don't know if it's out in public. I have no idea.
I think you do.
That's a good question. I don't know. Like, there is a lot of consent.
You got to blur your
when I do YouTube stuff.
Yeah, you got to blur the face out, and then if some reason they're going on and put it on the internet, even if they're doing it without consent or whatnot, but there's still another side of it. That's still assault. Like, if I got footage of you assaulting me, I'm suing you.
I don't know, man. I just know people do not like that Jack Doherty kid. Like, when people catch him out in public without his bodyguards, like, people talk mad shit to him, and he ends up like just getting in his car and leaving wherever he's at. Like, he puts his head down and just leaves. Like, nobody likes this fucking kid. I don't even know how he got famous.
He's not tough at all. He's only tough on bodyguard.
He's a small little broccoli head.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I think it's some smoke and mirrors. I don't know if all of this is legit. Like I said, you got to get waivers to sign off to put people's faces and for you to profit off it. And like I said, people will try to probably sue him for assault as well. I don't know. It's all.
And he hangs out with the fucking Island Boys, if that tells you anything about him.
Oh, that tells me a lot. I'm an island boy. Yeah, those guys.
Hey, didn't the Island Boy get in a fight a few months ago?
They always get in fights. They kiss each other. Like, they kiss your blood brother for clout. Like, that's weird. So it's all weird, the social media platform. But that's the day and age we live in now. But before we get on out of there, I just want to do a quick speed round. What do y'all think about Terrence Crawford's retirement? I'll let you do like a speed round of this. Chris, what do you think about his retirement?
Well deserved. Clearly, there was nothing out there for him to do next. I think he looked at everything that was on the table, and nothing came his way that was appealing. And probably what the deals that were there, he wasn't interested in. So I think it's well deserved and great fighter. Unfortunately, we didn't get all the fights we needed to see with him, but what we got from him was undefeated, smart boxer that can go left and right. I'm probably one of the best boxers I ever saw. That actually, like, if I had to teach some kid and be like, hey, watch boxing, it would definitely Terrence Crawford. Like, you could teach that. There's some things you could teach and try to learn from, and he's one of the fighters you could try to learn from.
Am I?
Yeah, I mean, well deserved, and it's crazy that he's retiring undefeated. He's at his peak retiring, which a lot of people don't. A lot of people retire after their downfall. 38 years old, at his peak, coming off a win of Canelo, who's arguably, one of the best to ever do it, currently one of the best to do it. Like, there's so many things you could say about Crawford. Just some of the biggest wins ever, Spence against Brook, Amir Khan. I mean, like, he's beat everybody throughout his career, just Gamboa, like, just crazy names that he's beat. And I can't remember who it was. I was watching somebody talk about him the other day, talking about how, he didn't even have to be coached that much. Like, he would learn from his own mistakes and just change his own game and stuff. Like, he just
Timothy Bradley.
Yeah, it was Bradley. It was Bradley talking about it and just saying how, a lot of times when we watch the boxing, they talk about people downloading their opponent and like changing their game. And Bradley was talking about Terrence Crawford was like the best at it. Like, he would download himself and change what he needed to on himself, to just get better. So, yeah, I mean, it's unfortunate for us that we don't get to see him fight anymore, but when we were talking about earlier legacy fights, like, there's really no other legacy fight or any fight that makes sense for Crawford. He's done it all. There's nobody left for him to fight. He's at the top, and it's finally great to see one of the greats, the best, retire at the top.
Steve, to close this off.
Yeah, like I said, not too many fighters go out and retire with all your options not there, because not only because you beat them all, you achieved it. And based off of that, I mean, that's really, if a fighter wants to get a comfortable exit, I wouldn't even say he got lucky. He earned it, and to get out the game, nobody's around. Shit, I'm done. I got money. I'm not retiring while people question me, oh, you didn't fight that dude. Yeah, he's earned his exit, so to speak.
Yeah. Hats off to Terrence Crawford, undefeated, fought everybody in front of him. The Spence fight, I think that was the legacy fight. Of course, the Canelo, but the Spence fight before that was like the super fight. I don't know if this retirement will stick. I think this may be a negotiating tactic, but we'll see. But if it does stick, then salute to Terrence Crawford, one of the greatest of all times of that weight division. And him and Floyd, like, at the top of that weight class as far as modern day boxers. So, like I said, salute to Terrence Crawford. But like I said, fellas, it's getting late early, so let's go ahead and wrap this up. This is getting close to the end of the year 3 of the show, which is crazy that we're coming to the end of year 3 of the show. Time is flying. So we appreciate everybody rocking with us out there and have more stuff going on in the next year. Maybe next year we'll do an end of the year award show. Like, we kind of did a full one when we did the 100th episode. So at the end of 2026, maybe we'll do a proper one. But yeah, we'll be back middle of next month. So we'll probably have like a month or so off. Then we'll finally get into the UFC cards. We got a big fight with Teofimo and not Devin Haney. It's Teofimo and Shakur Stevenson going down next month and the next month. So that's a good one. So we'll be back to recap that. And of course, all the MMA going on next month. But yeah, like I said, make sure to follow us on all social media forums and TikToks, the Instagrams, the Twitters, all that good stuff. But yeah, that'll do it for us here at Haymaker Combat Sports. Happy holidays to everybody, and y'all be safe out there. Later.
This is Haymaker Combat Sports. Here, coming straight from the source. Only with the real, they ain't here to dress it up. Sweet science, MMA, you can get it all from us. Trust, 5 stars, cause it's live.